This is the Randomer Nintendo Podcast, episode 25 for... When's this going up?
Tomorrow. So that would be...
For August 30th.
Yeah,
2023.
calendars.
Yes, I am your host, Kevin, for this episode, and to my virtual left, as always, is Jason.
Hello.
To my virtual right is
also
no
me.
one. Angel.
Also me. It's a full circle. Comes back to me.
Exactly, yeah. Angel's MIA. We lost Angel in the woods maybe about a week ago.
The angel has fallen.
The angel has fallen. Gerard Butler is somewhere out there trying to find him.
We have a White House down situation going on here, yeah.
Even mediocre B-list stars. I don't want to be mean to Gerard Butler. He seems like an alright guy.
Yeah, he's apparently a very nice guy, yeah. But
Gerard Butler can't find him, so.
Yeah, so we basically have to do a two-man. It's the return of JK, as we called it the last time. It was just us.
Yeah, JK with Jason and Kevin. So
Yes.
It's episode 25 for the Randomer Nintendo Podcast, but it's episode 2 for JK with Jason and Kevin.
And it's episode number 1 for what's going to be your favorite podcast by the time you're done listening to this. Am I right?
Let's not.
Am I saying the bar way too high?
Let's not overpromise. We've how many ever since I joined, how many duo episodes has there been?
Not a ton.
I think I missed the randomer.
I think you might miss the randomer. You definitely missed some of the old school random Nintendos, and I think I think Angel and I did a version of JK where it was just. Or no, that's not true. It was you and Angel.
Oh yeah,
So,
we did.
yeah.
What did we do? Crap, I forgot what we called
we
that.
had a clever name, not as clever as JK.
I want to call it AK-47.
Yeah, I think it was something
for
like
SEO
that.
reasons.
Yeah, for
We
SEO
didn't
reasons
go
we
that-
didn't.
we didn't
But
go that route.
I think in the description we said like we were gonna call it AK-47, but I don't remember. I could find it. We could all just listen to me scroll through our website. That'd be a fun time.
Yeah, just go through that real quick.
But yeah, it was. Let's see. I think there's never been a
Do
combo.
we have a Facebook page?
We don't. Weirdly, Rated KA, Kids to Adult.
Rated. There we go.
Yeah,
Rated K.
Yeah.
A.
and that was actually before JK. So you guys soloed it. Oh, first it was me and Angel. We did the Angel and Jason Power Hour. This is in
That's
the
right.
non-Tendo category. Nintendo has been Angel and me before. Then it was Rated KA, which was you two, and then you and I, saved the best for last. JK with Jason and Kevin was the third of the set. So again,
right,
I'm saying a
that's
really high bar, saying best for last, but yeah.
Right. When's the last time that you legitimately used Facebook?
Does Messenger count?
No.
Okay, real
Because
Facebook.
I feel like you can get away with using Messenger without really ever touching Facebook.
Yeah. So I use Facebook Procs. I'm on Instagram all the time. But yeah, Facebook as a service, I open it almost daily because they make that little badge icon pop up. I don't know. Well, again, a soapbox. I don't know how many people have seen this happen, but about 6 months ago, the Facebook app started randomly putting on an iPhone the little badge icon that you have a notification. It would do it like once a day, twice a day, and when you open it and go to your notifications, just some random thing like, hey, it's Kenny's birthday. It's like, okay. Or, hey, did you see that, Bob posted a thing? And it's like, no, I didn't. But there's no way to turn off, unless you turn off the badge notification entirely, there's no way to turn off that little, hey, here's a thing, we're going to put a number on your app icon. So for that and that alone, I've logged into Facebook daily. They are juicing their numbers, and I'm helping their daily active user count. In terms of engaging on Facebook, very, very, very rare. Maybe 3 times a year I write on someone's wall, happy birthday. And even then I've started to try to be more personal. And if I see it on Facebook, I'll text them type of thing.
Gotcha.
But, yeah. What about you?
I honestly only ever log into Facebook when we record. Because little behind the scenes fact, we use Facebook Messenger to talk to each other through this.
Which is very random.
We don't use Discord
hindsight.
as a lot of people use nowadays, or Skype and nothing like that. We use Facebook Messenger.
We, if I remember correctly, experimented with Discord and others, and for some reason the sound would cut out more on those than Facebook Messenger. So shout out to Zuckerberg for keeping our podcast afloat. But yeah, I don't. That's all you use it for, is just this, essentially?
Pretty much. And then I get what did this used to be called, the wall, right?
Yeah.
Where, your homepage.
Oh no, that was your feed, and the wall is your profile page where people leave comments. But the feed used to be
Gotcha.
the news feed, but they dropped news because they wanted to de-emphasize it being taken over by random news websites, and they wanted it to be more about people again. So now it's just the feed.
Yeah, my feed's all disgusting.
Yeah, I feel like,
just
honestly,
some absolute crap on here.
Facebook these days feels a lot like the modern version of like AOL or Yahoo. Like there's a generation that's maybe a little older than us that uses it regularly, and and everyone has it. Like so many people had like AOL or Yahoo emails for so long, so they'll see Facebook intermittently. Like they would, they go AOL.com, just get to their email. They go Yahoo.com, just get to their email. We see it intermittently, but like it really does feel like the modern day AOL. Like the homepage that has a little of everything, but mostly stuff you don't care about, and all sensational headlines, and you just kind of brush past it if you're our age.
Phil Collin bids farewell to fans as he performs his last ever show amid health battle. Is that real?
I didn't know he had a health battle. Or just Facebook's feeding you?
Yeah.
And I mean feeding
into.
See, right now I have the notification again, the little one. That to me, like, it's not quite, but that little one, that feels like I hate that, and people do this with Google too.
You know how
Google
you fix that?
Reckoning. You just turn it off entirely, but I still want real notifications as well.
No. What real notifications are you getting?
Oh, I guess none. That's true. I guess I just turn it off by turning off the
easy
badge,
fix.
yeah.
Easy fix for that. Just link yourself to the webpage. Like I've deleted Facebook off my phone. Like I haven't had Facebook on my phone for maybe about 5 years.
Wow.
Like if I need to log into Facebook for whatever reason, like on my phone, it will be through Safari.
I will say, Facebook's doing this with that icon. Other apps do it. Google does it, or like people do it to Google. It kind of sucks that the internet now, and it's not just web pages, because like games do this with all their monetization schemes. It kind of sucks that everything you go and do and like consume is like not like a dark pattern, but like has ulterior motives. You know what I mean? Like, you like think about like the earlier mid 2000s where you're on the internet. She's like, oh, look at all this cool information, all these, viral. There's a bunny with a pancake on its head, or all your base are belong to us, or like all those kind of like simple things. And there'd be like, college humor, like E-Bomb's World, if you want to be a little edgy or whatever. And there'd be like, it just be you consume content. But now everything on the internet is so geared towards getting you to like monetize to the maximum degree. Like if you search for something on Google, and this is something I'm sure a ton of people deal with, like you have to, and I think we might have talked about this before, I don't remember, but you have to like deal with so much fluff just to get to like what you're actually looking for. Like if you search a recipe, you don't need 6 paragraphs telling you about how this person's mom grew up in Italy and then brought the recipe over. It's just like, no, just show me how to make the lasagna. But they have to put it there because that demonstrates what's called EAT, which is expertise, authority, and trust, which is an SEO thing that Google encourages. So they need to show that they have valid expertise in this recipe by having 7 paragraphs you have to scroll through just to get to the recipe, or like there's so many pages that are just link farm. It kind of sucks that the internet's so like clunky now in a way. Even though it's faster and more streamlined than ever, the information is so clunky, and like trying to use an app gets so clunky because they keep throwing things at you. Like,
well, I think that's why everybody is leaning so heavy towards AI, like these AI search engines, right? So that you don't have to go through all that clutter, so that you can just get your answer as quickly and as, I guess, smartly as possible.
Well, smartly TBD on that. They have to get AI to be a little smarter, but yes, in concept, absolutely, yeah. And I think, we were talking about this last episode, but I think that's also why so many people found Baldur's Gate 3 so refreshing, is like it didn't have any of the like obstacles to get through just to enjoy the experience. There's not like battle passes or like DLC or like all this stuff you have to buy, or like, oh, you want this, you gotta do that. Like, it's just like, here's a game. Just like AI could be like, here's the information. Like we have like, I wouldn't call it information overload these days, but we have like, I guess it's not overload, but like information like bloat. Lack of a better term. I don't know. But everything seems so much harder to get to.
I would say bloat. Yeah, bloat is probably the word that I would use.
Yeah. And I know Google's like probably super worried about AI for exactly the reason you were saying, which is like, if people could just get the answer quicker, how you monetize that if you're Google? How do you put ads on that in a way that feels organic? How you catch up with ChatGPT? So yeah, we're probably at the cusp. I'm just rambling now, but we're probably at the cusp of like the biggest change in how people consume the internet in a long time, assuming AI takes off as everyone predicts it will. So that's kind of interesting. But Yeah, that's my internet rant. Thank you for tuning in.
The internet rant with Jason Rechtman.
Yes, yes.
That could be like your little segment on the podcast.
Yeah, R.I.P. Jason Sales Corner. Got a new one now.
Yeah, R.I.P. Jason Sales Corner. You will be missed by
me.
People.
There are 2 listeners.
There are dozens of us.
There are literally, I can confirm because I know them in real life. There are 2 people who, when I saw them,
there are more
would be
never
like, great
nudes
sales
than
corner.
People.
Correct. Yeah, more people in tight denim shorts than there are people who enjoy the sales corner. But for those who enjoy the sales corner, let me tell you, the Switch just outsold the Wii's lifetime sales in the U.S. the other day. So there you go.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. You know what's really crazy?
Which is insane.
What's crazy to me is it took this long to do it in the U.S. because it outsold the Wii globally like a year ago in February of like 2022. But because the Wii
that's even more insane. Like I didn't know that.
Oh
part.
yeah. It outsold the. See, that's what happens when you have Jason Sales Corner, Kevin. You're missing vital information. Yeah, it outsold the world total, like the global total, a year ago. But because the Wii was so big in the U.S., only now is it outselling the Wii. While what pushed the Switch forward was probably Japan, where they prefer mobile.
Crap.
They prefer mobile systems in Japan in general, like handheld gaming for when they commute. So Switch did better in Japan than it did in the U.S. compared to the Wii, so it pushed the global total. But now the U.S. has caught up on that total. Yeah. What's real crazy, it's less than 1 million away from Xbox 360. It's less than 5 million away from the PS2, which means if Nintendo plays their cards right and does, a price cut eventually, which they still haven't really done, the Switch could easily become the U.S.'s best-selling console of all time, which is wild. Like if you knock down the Switch Lite to like $100 and the Switch OLED to like $200 when the Switch 2 is out or whatever, and make those budget systems and do like a Nintendo Selects line where games are like $20 or $30 a pop, it's going to be the best selling system of all time, pretty sure, in the US. Which again, wild. So,
hold on, because I think
yes.
It looks like it just needs to overtake the DS and the PS2
for console? Yeah, or I should rephrase, not system, console. Yes, PS2 would be best-selling console, and I think best-selling system in the U.S. DS is best-selling system, like game device ever. Yeah.
It's a console, like...
Yeah, I never understood
not in
that.
the traditional sense, but like I wouldn't consider handhelds systems. I would consider them self.
Oh, I meant the other way around. Like if we were talking like Switch can become the best-selling system, it would have to overtake the DS. If it's becoming the best-selling console, it just overtakes PS2, which is behind DS. Yeah, because I think Switch is at like 130-ish million, and DS is like 152 million or something. So
what's going to give that Switch a run for its money? The good old PlayStation Portal. I was about to say portable.
Yeah, can we talk about that now that it has a price? Because I distinctly remember you saying the only way this has any chance is if it's $200. And guess what price it was? $200.
To my surprise, Sony actually pulled a W with the price. I was so expecting that thing to be DOA at $250.
Yeah. Are you?
But no. Instead, it's going to be DOA because the other crap that Sony likes to pull with their systems.
Are you talking about the proprietary audio stuff?
Oh my god!
We should explain it for folks who don't know. Do you want me to, or do you want to do the honors?
I can explain it.
Go for
PlayStation Portable. If you know what a PS5 controller, the DualSense looks like, imagine that split right down the middle with an 8-inch LCD screen right in the middle. It only does remote play directly to your PlayStation 5 and only does games that are downloaded or installed on that PS5. It does not do the cloud stuff that your PS5 can do, that your PC can do, that your PS4 can do, that hell, your Vita, I'm pretty sure, still has remote play.
And that like any smartphone with the PlayStation app.
And
it's so bizarre.
Just confusing product.
It's
Jim Ryan needs to go. Jim Ryan needs to go.
You didn't even mention the weirdest part of it. So, to go hand in hand with this, they announced some new headphones, and they use a special audio format called PlayStation Link. It is not Bluetooth. It is a different low latency audio format that only 2 types of headphone currently support: an over-ear headset that Sony's making and some earbuds that Sony's making. Other PlayStation branded headsets do not have Link and cannot work unless you plug a dongle to get PlayStation Link into your PS5 or your PC or your Mac or whatever. That's the other piece.
I will give them credit. They do have a headphone jack.
Yes. So if you want wired, you're okay. But if you want wireless...
If you want wireless...
It's, yeah, and it's like, here's the thing. Has there been... Now, I'm not up on my latency, honestly, because, like, I don't play a whole lot of stuff where it matters. Nintendo never is sitting there telling you about latencies and, like, you know, the latency of your Splatoon 3 splats is not a thing
That
they
is
say.
the last company that should ever talk about
exactly.
latency.
So I'm a little out of the latency wheelhouse here, but... Bluetooth latency doesn't seem bad. Like, why are they making PlayStation Link?
It's definitely not bad, but you could definitely see it.
Okay.
Like whenever I use my my AirPods with my Steam Deck, which is another, like, I have no reason to buy this thing since I already have a Steam Deck, but I could just install a third party remote play app. Going back to whenever I use my AirPods with my Steam Deck, it's like off by like a fraction of a hair.
Okay. Yeah, so if they're doing like peak gaming experience, yeah.
Yeah, it's noticeable. It's noticeable enough to be noticeable, but not enough to be like experience breaking. Experience shattering.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe PlayStation Link has something to it then, a little.
Sure, it has something to it, but not for $200. Not for $400 for a fully kitted out experience.
If you want that fully kitted out experience, you're basically buying a second PS5. It's the same price as the discless. Exactly. I need to be clear with that wording. Discless, not a different word. Discless model. Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting that, like, ultimately we had the Wii U. And the pitch of the Wii U, in large part, was, what if someone else is using your TV, or what if you all play in a nearby room? Well, here's a second screen on a controller. And then two companies went two very different directions with that premise. We got the Switch from Nintendo in one direction, and then we got now this PlayStation Portal in the other direction, which is basically the next step of what the original Wii U was. Which is, all right, you still have, like, your hub console, but what if, like, you want to go 2 rooms over out of range? Or what if you want to be on someone else's Wi-Fi while your console's on your Wi-Fi? You can do that. Like, it's sort of like the next step of the Wii U that no one bothered to take until now, I guess. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It's just interesting how, like, they kind of forked the Wii U concept in very different directions between the two companies.
Yeah, what perplexes me so much, I think I replied to, you know, my For You page on my Twitter is just all over the place nowadays.
Excuse you, I believe you mean on your X. Actually, no, I'm not correcting you. It's Twitter for always and forever. Yeah.
Where, like, my personal beef with this thing is, unless it's using a new proprietary way of connecting via remote play to where the latency is practically not there, I don't know who this product makes sense to. If you have a Steam Deck, which is a lot of people, you can use, I think it's called Chiaki. If you have a phone and a backbone, which everybody has a phone nowadays, a backbone you could find on sale for like maybe $70 whenever it's on sale.
And they're PlayStation branded even, if you want to pay $10 more.
And they have it. That too. Like, they have a PlayStation branded backbone. I have the regular, just like the regular standard version for my iPhone. But if the latency and the way of connecting is exactly the same way that it is on there, I just don't know who this product is for.
Right. So it's
I can do anything that the Portal does with my iPad Mini, you know, often the same way that I could with this PlayStation Portal thing.
You can literally also hook up a DualSense to your iPad Mini because iOS supports.
Too,
yeah. It,
like,
you know, it's interesting because
it's crazy.
I feel like Sony always does just weird hardware stuff in general. Like, not like Nintendo weird. Like, Nintendo does weird hardware stuff where, like, you know, it's a toy out of left field idea and they kind of make it work. Sony does, like, weird, I don't know how to describe it. It's like weird high-end. Like, I can see shades of Sony kind of doing the Microsoft Xbox strategy these days of, like, we want you to be, like, what counts to us as a Xbox user or a PlayStation user is you are consuming our games however you want. So, like, with Xbox, you know, with Game Pass and everything, they don't care if you're playing on a Steam Deck, a Xbox, a PC, your phone, like, whatever it is. Like, we count the people logging in and accessing these games as our core audience. Hardware is just one way to reach them. And I feel like Sony's kind of sorta doing that with this. Like, hey, you want to play on your phone? You can play on your phone. You want to play on your iPad? You can play on your iPad. Want to play on a PlayStation Portal? You could play on a PlayStation Portal. But the part that I'm having trouble wrapping my head around is why would they make basically a flagship way to play on the go with the Portal, but then have it be less featureful or have fewer features than using third-party devices? Like Xbox,
Right.
at least, when they're like, hey, the way to play is on an Xbox Series X, but if you gotta use a PC or you gotta use Game Pass on like a phone or a tablet, sure, you can. But like the peak pinnacle experience is you want Xbox hardware for your Xbox games. And Sony's like, the peak experience if you want PS5 on the go is nothing we make. And we're gonna make something for $200, but it won't be the best way to do it. But you can do it if you want. Like, it's just, it's weird. It's like sort of, feels like it's sidestepping the intention that they're trying to hit head on almost.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's called Portal, and the back of it has a blue circle on it that looks a lot like the portal from Portal. Like, is that a coincidence that they kind of just sort of borrowed some visual and name stuff from Valve a little there? I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but
Maybe.
that's the first thing I thought of, yeah.
There is some hope for some cool homebrew stuff with this thing. But even then, like, it doesn't have a processor. It doesn't have any internal memory.
It doesn't even run into its own software, apparently. Like, when you boot it up...
It runs on Android, yeah.
Yeah, but when you... No, but I mean, like, when you boot it up, there's no, like, system menu you can access. All it does is beam over your PS5 system menu.
Yeah, so...
Which is, like, there's barely anything there. Like, I don't even know if the Android it's running, if that has a test unit or if, like, they're putting this on top. Like, I have no idea how it's doing it, but there's, like, no UI for the device itself or UX.
Yeah, it's... I'm hoping that there's something there, like I said, with homebrew.
Right.
But I'm not getting my hopes up.
I'm waiting for them to, like, surprise, you can do, cloud gaming on this thing too, but I thought that would be the big, woo, look at this, when they announced the price and the final name. It's not there. I don't know if it'll ever be there.
I don't think so. I think they went out of their way to say that this is not a cloud thing.
So strange.
Which like who's the one that has like a cloud gaming? Logitech. Logitech has like an exclusive, not like they have some handheld that only does like cloud gaming.
Oh yeah,
I know what it's
yeah,
called.
I know you're talking about. It's white. Yeah.
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 The G Hub.
Something like that. Yeah, it's so interesting. There's like a whole like cottage industry of these sort of like portable PCs that kind of are using what the Switch successfully did, but doing it even more so because you can just run basically anything on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
I love my Steam Deck. I've been playing a bunch of stuff on there. I've been playing Armored Core, which I don't have.
How is that?
I don't want to give any impression. I don't want to give any impressions of it. The one impression I will give is that it's really good. I'm really liking it.
I saw someone make a mech that looks like a GameCube that turned into a Transformer, and I was like, "That's pretty cool." Like it's like chest plate is like the GameCube like disc cover thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty. It's a very cool game. But speaking of games that you can play on your phone, Armored Core is not one of them. But
unless you remote play one day, somehow.
unless you remote play. Jason, you remember HQ Trivia?
I do, and I remember everyone being very obsessed with it for about a month, and then it wilted away.
Yeah, there's a documentary about that.
Oh,
called Glitch: The Rise and Fall of HQ Trivia.
That actually sounds quite fascinating. In all honesty, like I'm not. I know it sounds sarcastic, but I mean, like that actually sounds really interesting. Is it like kind of the inner workings of the business and everything?
It is a documentary by CNN of all companies.
Huh.
I remember like watching the trailers online. I was like really excited about it, and the documentary essentially came and went. Like it was not available for streaming until about a month ago, and it pretty much documents the rise and fall of HQ Trivia about the two creators who I didn't know apparently were the creators of Vine.
Interesting. And that kind of explains some of it. Like I could see how the mindset of Vine can lead into something like HQ.
Right, and it's basically, it follows these guys creating Vine, selling Vine to Twitter, and then essentially trying to catch lightning in the bottle twice. Right? They caught lightning with Vine, and then unfortunately when that got sold to Twitter, it got killed off, and so it's all about these two, I want to say kind of neurotic, like CEOs that are essentially, according to this documentary, the two creators of Vine, were like Russ and Colin. They were almost sort of rivals that didn't really like each other. It was almost like they were just straight up business partners and not friends at all.
Interesting.
So yeah, so a lot of it is about like there's quite a lot of backstabbing in this thing, and I mean, spoiler alert. Unfortunately, the story has ended with one of them passing away.
Oh yeah, that's right. In New York, right? Like in his apartment, he was found. I think.
Yeah, he was found. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was a heroin overdose.
Right.
Which was really,
very unfortunate.
It sucks. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But it also follows the challenges that the dag laddie Scott Rokowski,
right,
the face of the literal face of HQ Trivia, like follows how he came on board, how integral he was to everything HQ. It was really, I love documentaries. I don't know how you are with docs.
I love inside baseball of tech stories like this. Like I haven't watched a ton of actually some, but yeah, no, I really like this sort of like how the rise and fall of these tech companies, or like the story of how something, like obviously it was fictionalized, but like the Tetris movie, like I really liked half that movie is like copyright negotiations. I was like, wow, this is great. Like I actually do like that stuff a lot. So yeah, I think I'd be very interested in this.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good. From what I understand, it's a little bit biased, but I don't know what documentary isn't.
Right. They all have a point of view. Yeah.
Exactly. They all have their own story to tell. No, but it's really well done. It definitely does give you like a warm feeling of like, man, do you remember when everybody was playing HQ?
Yeah.
When people would drop everything that they're doing, it's like, oh, it's 7 p.m. HQ's about to start.
There were times that we'd be hanging out, like the group of, I don't remember if you were with us in the car any of these times. There were times that we'd be like hanging out and we'd be somewhere and it'd be like a Sunday and it'd be like, 4 or 5 of us and we'd be about to leave. We're like, wait, HQ. And we'd all just sit in the car on our 5 separate phones all playing. And then when it ended, it'd be like, okay, let's head home, or okay, let's go back to what we were doing. It was like, yeah, it's kind of dystopian in a way, the way that everyone just stops, drops, and like tunes into this one man on their little screen in their pocket telling them things.
Mm-hmm. And there's like facets of this that I didn't realize were happening. Like, did you know that there was more than just one HQ game?
Really?
Yes.
Wait, what do you mean? Like different apps or like different games simultaneously in one app?
Like different HQ apps.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was like 3 of them. Did you know that there was international versions of HQ?
No. What?
Watch the documentary. It's insane.
Yeah. I feel like HQ kind of was, looking back now, seeing how everything, I feel like that was like a tipping point for like when companies realize you don't need to be on TV to have like appointment viewing. Like, you know what I mean? Like even live stream, like, for example, those Taylor Swift concerts. Did you know, because of, this is one of the few times I'm like, wow, 5G is actually useful. Because every stadium in the country got 5G installed on it by Verizon because they're trying to show off how cool it is that they can have like 10,000 phones connected at once or 70,000 phones. Every single Taylor Swift concert is live streamed by fans.
Oh, yeah.
Thousands upon
there's
thousands.
A picture that I watched that was streaming the entire thing on Twitch.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like tens of thousands of people tune in. The fans together started making like well-produced versions of these live streams where they'd have multiple camera angles. You'd be able to watch like 3 at once. They'd have like an intro where they like have different like B-sides of Taylor Swift playing while you wait for the show to start. Like it's like It's appointment viewing. It's no different than when you turn on ESPN and trust the sport you want to watch is about to start or whatever. But it's Taylor Swift shows. But it's all on people's phones. And like I feel like HQ is like one of the first ones that like kind of figured out, you can do the appointment viewing thing on your phone. And now people have obviously taken it and user generated contented it with stuff like the Taylor concerts. But like, yeah, HQ felt to me always so crazy because it was like literally TV, but in your pocket and interactive. And now, obviously Twitch streamers do it all the time. YouTube Live does it all the time. Nintendo Directs do it all the time. Everyone's used to this idea of tuning into some random web page or random app, but HQ is kind of at the start of that, I feel like, in many ways. So, yes.
Definitely. But like, well, definitely it was you could do appointment viewing on your phone. I don't know if you ever remember the Xbox 360 had a version of 1 versus
100. Yeah. I've always wanted to play that.
It was so much fun. Because if I remember, they had like daily quizzes, and then every week would be like an actual live show. And it was always so interesting to, like, they had a host and everything with their actual avatar, just ad-libbing on the spot. And it would be so insane. It would, like, he would pull somebody, from the 100 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it'd be so funny. It's just like, oh, that person just got disconnected. And he'd have to roll with it. He'd be like, oh, well, we lost that person. Let's go ahead and bring on another person,
So that was HQ before HQ, it sounds like.
Yeah, but of course, that had the disadvantage of having to be an Xbox 360 exclusive.
Right.
As opposed to everybody has a phone. Everybody has a smartphone.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like, the not the shadow that cast, but the legacy that created is, like, every Fortnite concert, every Splatfest in Splatoon, every, like, all these sort of, like, every season in a game like Marvel Snap or Call of Duty, like all these sort of like appointment based things you now do in all your things you consume. It used to just be TV. Now it's like any sort of media has like this appointment based thing, which, double edged sword probably. I mean, the one hand it's always fresh and interesting. Like Fortnite today is nothing like it was 2 years ago. But on the flip side, you blink and you miss it and you can never go back and do it. Like it's not like it's, so. But yeah, I always wanted to try 1 versus 100. That was one of the few. There were a few times in the Xbox 360's lifespan that I was like, should I get a 360? Like, I have a Wii, and at the time everyone did the whole like, oh, you gotta get like the Wii 60 pair. Like everyone had a Wii and a 360. It was kind of, they were complimentary. There were a couple of times I came very close to getting a 360, but I never actually pulled the trigger. But 1 versus 100 is one of those times for sure.
Yeah, well, the live service 1 versus 100 was just. Man, I just remember going into Xbox 360 lobbies and like voice chats with my friends and just trying to answer everything correctly. It was the same like fuzzy like warm feelings that I got while like playing HQ. It definitely brought up those memories, and I feel like if there was a time to ever bring back 1 versus 100, it was at the peak of HQ mania. But
right,
I mean that came and went.
Yeah. It how do you like? I guess that explains why HQ had like so many different versions of HQ. But how do you maintain that? Because there's such a novelty factor, Like at some point, people check it out, like, oh, this is fun. But by week 10, I can miss a game today. I'm busy. By week 12, I don't play it. I mean, Wordle went through the same thing. Everyone was playing Wordle for like a good couple months during the pandemic, and then people slowly got tired of it. It still has a dedicated base, but it's probably much smaller than what it was in its peak.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's hard to innovate on a simple concept you just without ruining the concept.
And that's actually like something that's discussed in this documentary.
Oh, it's interesting.
Sort of like a battle between one CEO that wants to expand while one just wants to perfect what they already have. So
what would you do in that situation? Would you expand or would you perfect?
Oh man, that's tough. Because while I understand the whole wanting to expand, HQ was kind of a buggy mess.
Yeah, it was.
That's the whole reason that Scott got the nickname the Dag Laddie.
Right. Yeah,
I'm saying Dag Laddie on purpose. I know it's the Lag Daddy, but he a lot of times would call himself the Lag Daddy himself.
Yeah, yeah. What was I gonna say? It is a tough question. I don't even know what I would do. I think there's a difference between, and I haven't seen it. Obviously, haven't seen it, but I think there's a difference between full perfection and just triaging it enough to get running smoothly and then moving into new stuff. But yeah, I don't know that. I do not envy the position those CEOs were in, not one bit.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Glitch, the Rise and Fall of HQ Trivia. It's on HBO Max. If you're also into, I will never call it just Max. If you're also into, like you said, if you're into the, like technology documentaries,
Yeah.
The Inventor, fantastic documentary on, Elizabeth Holmes. Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, yeah.
Theranos?
Yes, the
Yes.
blood company, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
Yep.
They have a fictionalized version of her story on Hulu
Dropout,
as well.
which
The Dropout.
I saw the first couple of episodes and I just couldn't see the rest of it for whatever reason. I just think the Inventor is a much better. Well, obviously, the Dropout is sort of a dramatized version of real life events, but
yeah,
as
if it didn't have enough drama in the real version already, with her like scamming a bunch of investors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also on HBO Max. So that's what I got. Jason, what do you want to talk about?
Well, if you're doing recommendations, why don't we talk about a recommendation you gave me a year ago that I finally followed through on? Hear that, listeners? Last time I was criticized for never taking anyone's recommendation, but I watched The Bear. I did it.
You watched The Bear?
Both seasons. Very good show.
Seasons.
Yes.
Bear?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it. What were you going to say?
No, because I'm going to drop a bomb. So you go first.
Oh, I was going to say, I remember you saying it was one of the tensest shows you've watched, right? Like you put it up there with like Uncut Gems in terms of just how like tense you feel the whole time. I got that vibe for sure in a lot of episodes, but if that's something that people are like, oh, it's going to be too stressful, it has calmer moments, it has funnier moments.
It's not Uncut Gems for however many hours the show lasts.
Exactly. But it's I thought it was a really well balanced, really well done show. Has a lot of heart. Has interestingly kind of a video game hook in the very first episode briefly. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
What's the name of that game?
Oh,
Ball Breakers? Ball Busters?
Yeah, Ball Breakers, I think.
Ball Breakers.
It was clearly Mortal Kombat, but it was a fake Mortal Kombat.
My bombshell, I think The Bear Season 2, and spoilers for this year's Quarantinis, I believe The Bear Season 2 kicked Succession's ass in my mind as far as what is the better season. And you know how much I love Succession.
I was going to say, that is high praise coming from you. Yeah. I have to stew on that a little. Yeah, no, they're definitely not going to stew,
because we haven't even talked about what The Bear is.
Right. We should back up. So The Bear, I feel like you're the bigger Bear fan. Do you want to summarize it?
Just quick rundown. Yeah. This world famous chef goes back to his hometown in Chicago to run this Italian beef sandwich shop.
Literally called Beef.
Is called The Beef.
Yep.
Which is based off a real place called Mr. Beef, I believe.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, he goes back to his hometown in Chicago to run this Italian beef sandwich shop that was run by his older brother, who recently just passed away after taking his own life. And the first season essentially is the trials and tribulations that the chef, whose name is Carmen, Carmy for short, has to undertake. Whether it's getting his new employees to respect him, the challenges of coming into a failing business, the personal struggles that he has having to run, this restaurant that was run by his brother, who he clearly loved. Which you definitely see that in the second season.
Oh yeah.
And the emotional toll that it takes for him to try and run this shop. All while being really funny at the same time.
Yeah. There's some great characters. And I mean, there's some that are just straight up comic relief, like Fack.
Yeah, Fack.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah,
which Fack is he's an actual like restaurateur.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Like he owns a couple of restaurants.
Interesting. Yeah, I figured they must have some real like foodies on the show, in different ways, because like the food looked amazing throughout the show. Like they knew, like they did their research, or they had the right people. Because yeah, it looks every episode I just like I want to eat that. That almost like did help like bring me down from any of the episodes where it was too like crazy or intense. Was just like, look at that food, that looks so good. Like it's almost calming without having to eat it in a way when they show the shots of the food. But yeah, so season 1, like you said, is basically him sort of finding his footing and the dynamics of him and the staff of this failing restaurant. And season 2, as a lot of shows do, expands it out. So now like a lot of staff get their own kind of little side stories and like almost like mini vignettes at times. There's one staff
like side quests. Like...
Yeah, literally, it's like side quests. Yeah, like one goes to Copenhagen. And the whole like 2/3 of the episodes in Copenhagen. It's very similar to if you've watched Ted Lasso, or I went out there. I've watched Ted Lasso. There's an episode where they go to Amsterdam, and like the whole episode's in Amsterdam. I feel like these TV show crews are just like, where should we go in Europe for vacation, and just like take the show with them.
Right.
Yeah, but so there's like that, and then there's like other stuff's doing other things. But so season 2 felt more like season 1 to me felt kind of, and they were both great. To be clear, I love them both. But season 1 to me felt more kind of like a very linear story that was just chopped up into episodes. And season 2 felt like a fully like all-encompassing TV show with different characters with A plots and B plots and C plots and that sort of thing. And it's kind of interesting watching back to back to see the show go from basically what could have been a mini series into like a full-blown like, no, we're like a real full TV show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that first season, that show could have ended after the first season. I totally would have been satisfied.
Yeah. I thought it was really strong that season. Yeah.
But then I like going through all season 2, I think absolutely justified its existence and even surpassed season 1 in my opinion. Especially that 6th episode, the flashback episode.
Yeah, I was about to say. Also,
the Seven Fishes episode.
Yes, and without spoiling anything, throughout the show, but especially that episode, I kept going, this person's in it? Wait, this person's in it? Wait, they're in it? Wait, they're in it? Like, it was like, I think there are like 10 instances where I'm just like, how'd they get this person to be in this? Like,
I mean, that episode that I'm talking about, the Seven Fishes episode, which I believe is the 6th episode of season 2.
Yeah.
It's just cameo after cameo. And
but
it's funny because
it feels organic though. Like, it doesn't feel too... Yeah,
but it's literally cameo after cameo where it's just characters walking in through a door, and it's like, oh, okay, you're playing this character. Okay, oh, you are also here, and oh, I wasn't expecting you. And eventually, you're like, wait, what is John Mulaney doing in the bear?
No, that's exactly because like we were watching and we were just like, oh, sure, oh, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, sure. John Mulaney, like it was exactly, and he did what he needed to do. He was like, he played exactly what the person he needed to play in that. Like it was good, but
he was playing John Mulaney. Like
he was John Mulaney.
He was playing a little bit more subdued John Mulaney, but he was absolutely playing himself.
Yeah, and I mean John Mulaney's great, so yeah, I was super on board with him being there. But yeah, the thing I thought was kind of funny with the show in general, especially in season 2, is you could tell when it's going to be a super good episode because they don't do the normal intro. Like, I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah. Whenever they do a different format for the start, either they just flash the logo or they put opening credits or something. It's like, oh, this is like going to be movie quality opposed to TV quality. And like every time. Yeah.
Yeah, like the 7th episode of the first season review, which is, one long take.
Yeah, for the full 20, it's like 22 minutes straight.
They do the cuts. Yeah, but, they do the smart cuts, but it's supposed to be all in one long take.
Yeah.
And that episode is stressful as hell.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that felt closest to Uncut Gems to me. That is like...
Oh, really? You didn't feel that the Seven Fishes episode was...
I don't know.
Spoiler alert. Jamie Lee Curtis is in that episode, and she puts on...
A show.
A show. She
puts on, what do the critics say? She put on a clinic. Like, was... Yeah.
Like, which I wouldn't be surprised if she wins the, like, outstanding...
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like guest appearance. Yeah, no, she was great in it. But yeah, no, Seven Fishes for me, maybe because I haven't, like, been in... And I'm not saying you have either, but it felt more removed in terms of, like, I haven't been in a scenario that is that tense with family because I don't have a big family, so I'm never like in those scenarios. So for me, I was just like watching from the outside, and I was just like, oh, this seems crappy, like for them to be in the moment. But like review, the idea of like, you know, the pressure cooker of the situation, the time limits they were working under, like that, I felt I could relate to more. So it stressed me more as a result. Not that I've ever cooked in a restaurant, but you know, just the idea of like you have this limited time and all this stuff and things are unraveling in real time. And yeah. And that episode review, if I'm not mistaken, besides obviously being one long cut, well, obviously because it's one long cut, it's basically minute for minute exactly how it would unfold for real life. Like it was 20 minutes straight of exactly the chaos that could ensue. And then they kind of like mirrored it a little in the first half of the second season's final episode. Not a full, the whole episode wasn't, maybe it was the second and last episode, I don't remember. But the whole episode wasn't acting like it was a single take, but the first 10 or 15 minutes of it, they did almost exactly the same format, which I thought was kind of a cool callback. When they opened.
Yeah, when they opened. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it definitely felt like that. And what I really love about that episode is that, you know, you have your friend of house where everybody's dining. That's, you know, very, you know, you're hearing music that you would hear at a restaurant like that. It's very calming. But as soon as you go back into the kitchen, it's hectic as all hell. Like,
and they did a great job with the sound edit there too. When they'd walk through the door from the front to the back.
Oh yeah,
and
it sounds like it's like a tunnel, like transporting.
Yeah. It's such a well done show, and you could tell that they're like it's a passion project because they really love. There was one episode I think in season 1 where it almost felt like a send up to just Chicago. It's set in Chicago, as I think you were saying before, but just like it felt like kind of a send up to the city in a way, and they do so many shots of the city, and like, yeah, I feel like this was definitely a labor of love for those involved, of labor or love of food, love of Chicago, like all of it. Yeah.
Who was your favorite character of the show?
Oh man, you know who really I thought like I did at first I was like, oh, he's kind of like whatever, but by the end, oh my god, I forgot his name. Carmi's cousin, the guy that Richie, yeah. I really liked Richie's. I thought Richie's arc in season 2, without spoiling anything, was I really loved what they did with the character and
pitch perfect for me.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, he might be my favorite.
I don't know how to say. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think Eben or Ebon. I'm not sure. But,
the actor.
Yeah,
I don't know. Either.
But Richie's arc in season 2, especially, he gets his own episode.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably the best episode of the entire series, in my opinion.
I wouldn't disagree. I don't think I'd have to think about that, but no, I really love that episode.
And that episode has a hell of a cameo at the end as well. Like,
oh yeah. It's this show it keeps,
and this show also has probably some of the best needle drops that I've seen in a TV series.
And a lot of Wilco,
like Richie's episode itself has, and like Richie's episode itself, that needle drop of Love Story by Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like, yeah, the thing that I think I like the most about The Bear is every time you think you kind of have a grasp of, okay, they're going in this direction, even if they go in the direction you think they're going, they do it in a way that surprises you a little.
Yeah, there's always going to be something in every episode. Well, obviously, this being a TV show, it needs conflict.
Of course,
every episode, whatever conflict you think will happen in the episode, the conflict will actually be 10 times worse than whatever you think.
And similarly, when you think things will just resolve and that'll be it turns into some of the most heartwarming, you know, like when they had like the family meals at the end of the day and stuff. Like there are a couple times I was just like, wow, this is really like sweet and touching. And like the show really hits all the emotional beats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like you know, it's really fun to say yes, chef and heard chef and.
Yes, chef and cousin.
Yeah. That one, Rachel and I were debating about. Do people actually call their cousins just cousin? Is that a thing?
Well, that's the thing. They're not cousins.
I thought they were cousins.
No, they're not cousins. They bring that up all the time.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Huh.
Yeah, they're not cousins at all. They're not related. They grew up together, but they're not related.
That's right. And that's why it's the two sets of them at the... Yeah, that makes sense. At the family dinner. Okay, yep.
Yeah, like,
well, nonetheless, do people say cousin?
Uncle Cicero.
Right.
Their Uncle Cicero isn't really their uncle, and they bring that up all the time.
Right. Somehow that went over my head now that you mention it. Yeah. They do bring it up all the time, which makes it even sillier that I didn't pick up on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so that's why I think cousin does make sense, even though logically doesn't.
Yeah.
Like
No,
obviously
totally.
they're not cousins, but
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a good show.
Yes, Chef is definitely the thing that is not in like the vernacular now, but like if you are a fan of TV, you will most likely understand what Yes Chef means.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because this and The Menu, the movie The Menu, were like both around the same time, and they say Yes Chef all the time in The Menu too. So like Yes Chef is having a cultural moment as a phrase. Heard Chef a little less so, but I did see a post somewhere. I was reading some people's impressions, and they were like, "Yeah, anytime my cat sneezes now, I just say Heard Chef when I hear them." And I was like, "Yeah, I should have my cats just be like Heard." But yeah,
like I said, it's going to be unless something I don't know what other TV there is.
There's not.
Or like what else is supposed to be? Oh yeah,
there's not much, especially at the strike.
This will most likely take my my favorite TV season.
Right. And to be fair, there is some stuff that's lighter fare that I'm having fun with. The After Party season 2, Only Murders in the Building season 3, but yeah, nothing's like prestige in the way that The Bear sort of fell into being. Even though like the first season feels so small in production and small in scale and scope, and in season 2 you can see they got that prestige TV budget all of a sudden.
Like you said, the trip to Copenhagen.
Yeah, not just that, but
which also has its own crazy cameo.
Oh yeah, yes it does. I forgot about that. But yeah, I was gonna say even the shots of Chicago in season 2, like they're like doing more drone shots. They're doing like shots that like spin and turn. Like you could tell they had like even more budget just for the like setting scenes. Like it was, the show got the money it deserved for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's The Bear. Season 3, fingers crossed. Like I can watch this show forever.
Yeah, the characters are just so there's such good chemistry between the characters too. That's the thing. Like it feels really organic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd happily watch
hope to see more.
Yeah, same. Same.
Hope to see more.
Get on it, FX/Hulu/Disney.
Yes.
It's like a Russian nesting doll of like production companies there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
What else we got?
We have an ode to a legend.
Ah, yes, indeed. It's a sad week.
He's not dead, but
he's not dead. That's true. He's probably quite content, but yes. So a week ago, Nintendo very unceremoniously just put out an image and a tweet. It was just like, Charles Martinet is no longer doing voices for us. He will instead be a, quote, Mario ambassador, and they'll have a video coming out soon. I'm guessing in the Nintendo Direct that they had just announced today, that goes out on Thursday, where Miyamoto and Charles Martinet will do a bit of a video send-off. But yes, the voice of Mario, for the first time since he had a voice in the games, is no more, is changing, which is kind of wild.
Quite the run.
Yeah, he first did the voice, if I'm not mistaken, in like 1993 for some promo videos and trade shows, or you could like talk to Mario on the floor of CES or whatever. And then obviously Mario 64 was where he did it for the first time in game, and he's been doing it ever since. Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Mario's dad in the Mario movie, the Jumpman playing guy at the beginning of the Mario movie, whose name I guess is Giuseppe or something like that. He's done a lot of characters. So yeah, it's quite a run. Kind of abrupt, but maybe not too surprising if you think about like the timing with the Mario movie and Mario Wonder looking to be sort of like almost like a soft reboot of what like a 2D Mario can be. Like this would probably be the time, because here's the thing about the Mario voice to me. It's great. It's iconic. His one-liners are fun. Talking to Charles Martinet, either when he's pretending to be Mario and like through a screen, or like when you talk to him in real life as just Charles Martinet, like he can carry a conversation in that voice, and it's great. But as I think we were saying when they cast Chris Pratt in the movie, whether or not you like Chris Pratt, you can't have 90 minutes of just like, Mamma Mia, it's me, oh, pizza pie. Like you can't. It would just get grating. And I suspect now that Mario's gone from being a player avatar in the same way Link was, and that's why Link is silent, because he represents you, to being a kind of full character who has thoughts and emotions and motivations and things in the Mario movie, I think Nintendo's starting to see a chance to sort of bring a little more of Mario as a character opposed to Mario as an avatar to the games. And I would guess that's in part why now, of all times, is when Charles Martinet, whether he chose to leave on his own or was waiting for Nintendo to kind of give him the signal or what, I imagine that's why it's happening when it is. Because I would guess that while Mario Wonder may not have him speaking, full like tomes of dialogue or something, I would imagine he's going to be a little more chatty in Wonder, and I would imagine as the games keep moving forward, he's going to get chattier and chattier and start to actually talk in cutscenes and start to actually be more of a character, like in the second biggest movie of the year and second biggest anime movie of all time, the Mario movie. Like that's kind of the character now. Is
don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I that's just
I
my
like
suspicion.
my Mario, my game Mario, and my movie Mario the same way I like my church and state. Okay,
separate but equal.
Separate but equal.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, I mean, I could be totally wrong, but like looking at, and again, there's going to be a dedicated Nintendo Direct for Super Mario Wonder on Thursday morning. This goes up Wednesday morning, so speculating off one day, in the 1 day window before we get. My guess is Mario Wonder, looking at what they're doing with like power ups and like kind of playing with the imagery and the visuals and moving away from the new Super Mario Brothers look. My guess is this is going to be the most like new thing they've done with 2D Mario. Not new as in the series, but new as in like different thing they've done with 2D Mario in a long time. And my guess is that if they were to ever move in a direction, whether it's more voice or not, that this is that time to do it. So yeah, I don't know if he's going to do full like dialogue that quickly. I mean, even in the trailer where people thought they noticed it wasn't Charles Martinet talking, he still is wahooing and yahooing and doing the usual Mario sounds. But just, if there's like a Mario RPG or something, like not Super Mario RPG, because that's a remake, it's coming out too soon, but if there was like, I don't know, a new Mario and Luigi in a few years, maybe Mario talks, maybe Mario has dialogue when he's engaging with these various characters. Who knows? But like this sort of opens the door to that, because you can't really do that with Charles Martinet's voice, which is not a knock against Charles Martinet. That's not the direction for the character at the time. And he nailed what the character was for, almost 30 years? Oh God, that's crazy. Yeah, 30 years, 1993 till 2023. But yeah, if Nintendo's choosing...
God, I just realized that's how long I've been alive.
Oh, I've been alive even longer, so I feel your pain and then some.
Yeah, but it didn't hit me until right now.
Yeah, until we qualified it that way. But yeah, I would think that. I mean, Martinet's not like retiring fully. He's becoming this Mario ambassador. He's been doing the convention circuit for a number of years now. We've met him, or I've met him. Have you ever met him, Kevin?
I have not met him.
Okay. He's super nice. But yeah, I've met him back in like 2012, and he's been doing the convention circuit ever since. So he'll continue to do that and still represent Mario and still be the wahoo, yahoo guy. But I think for what Nintendo's trying to do with the character, this is the pivot point. So we'll see if I'm right. I'd happy to be, separated church and stage, but it could be wrong. Could be very wrong, but seems kind of arbitrary to switch him out now if that's not the direction it's going in. And obviously, like I said, he's still healthy and Martinet's still doing great. Charles Martinet's still doing great if he's like becoming the brand ambassador and going to all these conventions. So I don't know. We'll see. But he's also not voicing Wario in Move It when it comes out in November, in WarioWare Move It. So it is a clean break in general. And actually, Wario, they started giving full dialogue to with, I think, WarioWare Gold, or maybe the last WarioWare on Put Together or Keep It Together or whatever it's called, Get It Together on Switch. He did start doing more full sentence dialogue. In Wario's voice, it's a little easier, but yeah, I don't know.
Wait, is that his last game that he voiced any Nintendo?
No, well, he records new little ad-libs for all the games, so I would guess his last one, whatever the last Mario, maybe like 3D World plus Bowser's Fury? No, that can't be right. Maybe a Mario Party.
I'm saying like last full release by Nintendo. Is it going to be Get It Together?
Maybe. No, I think Super Mario Party came after that, and he did ad-libs in that. So
Super Mario Party or Superstars?
Superstars, sorry. Thank you. Yeah. I could be wrong. I don't know, actually. Let's look this up. Let's go backwards.
Didn't Superstars come out like 2 years ago?
Yeah, but Get It Together came out last year.
Jesus.
Huh? Yeah, you might be right. It could be Get It Together. Which, I mean, again, if he's going out with the most dialogue for Wario he's ever had. That's cool. Like, that's a way to go. I'm okay with that personally. Yeah,
Get It Together came out in 2021.
Right, right. So what came out last year that had Mario in it? Because that would be
Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
That might be one where I don't know if you recorded custom dialogue for it. They might have just reused. I could be wrong. But he usually does new ad-libs. I will say, though, about Charles Martinet as a person, he's going to be a great Mario ambassador. I don't know what Mario ambassador means exactly, except he goes to conventions and does the voice and meets people, but he's going to be great at it because he is the nicest guy. Like, I know we've used throughout the years, anyone else listened to us for a while knows we had him record us. He was very kind enough to record us a custom Ram Nintendo intro when we were still Ram Nintendo. We're not going to play it again. We played it enough over the years, but just interacting with him then, seeing him at other conventions and stuff since, like, he has this energy to him. Like, you meet him and he just immediately is like doing the voices and like talking and like bantering between the different characters while talking to you and like looping you in. It's just like, he has like this infectious like excitement about being these characters that's really fun to be around. And he's like super appreciative of the fans. I remember when we lined up to meet him in 2012. This was at Comic-Con, so when Nintendo had their gaming lounge at the Marriott, we were all like kind of in a line outside the lounge. He walked the entire line and just thanked everyone for coming. And this was like a couple hundred people deep, probably, or maybe like 150. But he like walked the whole line, even though we were about to go meet him inside. He like came out, walked it, thanked everyone, went back in, and then met us all one by one and recorded, the intro. And Elvis got like a voicemail as Wario and like stuff like that. He's just a super nice guy and just so like happy to be doing what he's doing and connect with fans who like his work and stuff. Like, it's really cool. Like, he's not at all jaded by anything. He's like literally the nicest guy. So the fact that he still gets to go do that and meet fans and continue to be that super nice guy is a nice, I don't know if it's an olive branch Nintendo gave him so they could let him down easy if they're moving in a different direction, or I don't know if it's something he requested. I don't know how it got there, but the fact that he
we still don't know whether he requested
nice.
to step down or
that's
Nintendo
the thing.
asked him to
Yeah,
step down, right? Yeah. So
my guess is Nintendo probably. There's a quote a long time ago that he basically said he'd love to do Mario until he dies or until he's physically unable. If he's doing convention circuit, he's still physically able, I would assume. But
yes.
Yeah, so Nintendo, it's probably Nintendo going in a different direction. But nonetheless, the fact that like, even if they sort of let him down easy with this like side hustle of like, you could be an ambassador, like the fact he still gets to interact with fans and had those connections is really cool because he certainly seems to love it from what I've witnessed. So better than nothing. But I guess the question becomes, who would be the new Mario? Like, is it could be a no name? Is it could be us?
AI?
Is it gonna be AI? I guess it could be AI. That's interesting. Which
I could have sworn I saw somewhere online saying that
it wouldn't.
His voice is like an actual recorded, not AI.
Okay, well that's good in a way because I feel like the thing with AI voices to me is they're pretty good, but you can kind of tell they're not the same. Like they don't. There's like a flatness to them, even if they have like expressiveness. They're still kind of a weird like. It's like dead in the eyes, but for the voice. You know what I mean? Like Uncanny Valley, but the voice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious how they go about picking. Like, are they even going to announce it? It could be like someone, they're like, this is the new Mario, or they're just going to like put a game out and someone will see in the credits, oh, it's John Smith. Okay, congrats, John Smith, you're Mario. Like, is it going to be a thing, or are they going to try and make him as much of a like part of the Nintendo sphere as like Charles Martinet was?
I don't think you can.
What was that?
I don't think you can unless they're. Yeah, I just don't think you can make that person a thing like Charles Martinet.
There's also an element where I don't think Nintendo wants to.
Like that. I think it's a couple of things. It's a mix of they don't want to because you already have your Mario ambassador.
Yeah.
2, would John Smith really want that? Like having to follow? Like hell no. Like unless it's like Charles Martinet's brother, but
Chucky Martinet.
You know how like Tom Hanks' brother does all of Woody's voices,
right?
In like everything but the official movies.
Right.
You know, he gets all that money and like the fame, which is probably
not a bad combo. Yeah,
exactly. That's why I feel like would John Smith really want that?
You're probably right.
Just get the bag and don't have to deal with the fame.
Be the Daft Punk of Mario voices. You're just who is behind the face, who are behind the helmet. You'll never know. Yeah, it's interesting because I do feel like Nintendo. I mean, for them, they got lucky that Charles Martinet's a super nice guy because if it is someone that had and he if you follow Martinet on Twitter, he has some mostly totally, completely sane political views, but he does get a little, about like, like good to, no, not like anything too political, but he's big on like equal rights. He's big on like inclusivity and stuff like that, which is great. But what if Nintendo hires a new Mario and the dude has a Twitter and off he goes?
A milkshake duck.
Yeah, essentially. So I have to imagine, and Nintendo's been moving away. There was a period there in like the Wii U era, where Nintendo was really big on like propping up all these different people at the company. Reggie, Miyamoto, obviously, Aonuma for Zelda, Hideki Kono for Mario Kart, Kit and Krista would host their weekly Nintendo Minute videos. There's like tiers of like different Iwata when he was still around. There was, this kind of like Nintendo's represented by this Bill Trennan. Like Nintendo's represented by like this sort of collective of a few people. And like if these are the personalities of Nintendo, and they completely dropped that. Like minus Miyamoto and sometimes Aonuma and Sakurai when he was doing Smash Bros. The like Doug Bowser post Iwata era of Nintendo does not really shine a light on any people. It's like, this is Nintendo. We are the entity Nintendo. They'd like, when Splatoon first came out, or like when ARMS came out, they'd like trot out the like producers of the game, and they'd be like the kind of spokesperson. They wear outfits like the ARMS guy wear like a cool like sporty T-shirt with the ARMS logo, or like and they like made like this like cult of personality almost around these people, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna connect on a personal level. And Charles Martinet slotted right into that as like, he's Mario. They don't do any of that anymore, and I have to imagine part of it's because they want to be monolithic Nintendo, and part of it's they want to avoid the milkshake duck situation with anyone ever. So if they were to not ever make the new Mario voice actor a big deal, that would line up exactly with how they treat things now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure some of it's also because they don't want to deal with the legacy stuff, right? Because, like, Reggie leaves Nintendo. He's a big personality. He writes a book about his time at Nintendo. Kit and Krista leave Nintendo. They were big YouTubers for Nintendo. They have their own podcasts, their own YouTube videos, etc. And they talk inside baseball about Nintendo. And I'm sure Nintendo wants to keep things... Not that anyone's violating NDAs, but I'm sure the less inside baseball that's told after people leave Nintendo, because they're still big personalities that Nintendo created, probably the better from their perspective. So I have to imagine that's another part of it, of why they maybe wouldn't put a spotlight on whoever the new Mario is.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, come Thursday, I'm very curious of when this direct happens, which I'm very excited for, because I'm very excited about Mario Wonder.
It happens Thursday.
Yeah. But I was just saying,
tomorrow, if you're
tomorrow by the time you're listening. Yeah, but most people here it's probably already happened. But let me tell you, I'm very excited to see what this game turns into, because it looks like someone at Nintendo gave him the green light to go crazy with this game. Like, drop Formulaic Mario, do random weird stuff, and I'm very, very interested to see just
Miyamoto
how, like,
finally tried weed.
Yeah. Oh, you don't think he's ever tried it in the video games where you like eat mushrooms and like stomp on turtles and bushes come to life and they're called Goombas? Or like not really bushes, but bush sprites. Like, he's definitely partake in.
I think that was when he dropped. Not
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Not weed.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're literal. I was gonna say there's
literal mushrooms.
Wonder seeds.
Yes, wonder seeds. Yes, you have a wonder seed and the world gets all trippy and hallucinogenic. Yep. But I'm very curious to see just
maybe he dropped this time.
Maybe he did shrooms that time, and now he's upgraded, or whoever's producing the game is upgraded to acid. And because they're doing heavy drugs, Nintendo doesn't want them to be public figures, and that's why we don't get Charles Martinet anymore. It all comes together.
Oh.
But I'm very curious to see what the game looks like when that direct hits, because like it looks like they're having so much fun with it. It feels kind of like there's a lot of Switch games where Nintendo like took liberty and it's just like, you know what, like Switch is selling, this game will sell, let's just go crazy with it. Like, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Pikmin 4.
There's a sense of whimsy that I was sorely missing from a 2D Mario.
Yeah, like the new series was fine, and I really enjoyed playing them, but it was very
something
cookie
about them
cutter.
Was too sterile for me.
Yeah. And in the moment that they came out, I was just so excited to have new Mario that I kind of overlooked it, but looking back at those versus some of the wacky stuff that you see in like Mario 3 or Mario World, yeah, it's definitely... there wasn't a situation in the new Super Mario Bros. Series where there's one level, they're like, we're just going to introduce this one enemy this one time, and now it'll be the only time you ever see it. But the other games used to do that. I bet you this one will do that. But yeah, the new series did not do that. So.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but Charles Martinet,
Well,
thank you for your service for 30 years. You will be missed.
Yes, sir. You will be missed. And don't miss the Random or Nintendo podcast when we come back in 2 weeks.
Beautiful segue. Yes, and we'll have Angel, presumably, if we ever find him in the woods.
If we find him, or if he finds himself. What if he just did drugs? What if he did ayahuasca?
What if this was
went to the desert like Aaron Rodgers?
What if this was like a walkabout that he went on? Maybe that's where he is, and he'll just sort of wander back.
There was one day where I forgot how we got to talking, but we're like, Angel, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I just walked to, I just came back from Toys R Us. I walked all the way from my house. I'm like, that is like the walk from his house to Toys R Us. Way more than that.
Yeah, he likes to walk.
You madman.
He does it a little less now, but he definitely enjoys very long walks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would props to him. Walks. Like the thing that gets me a walk is Pikmin Bloom. But I don't just like walk long.
You don't do it for fun.
I walk until Pikmin Bloom tells me I've walked enough to do whatever I needed to achieve, and then I stop. Angel will just keep going. If you don't stop Angel, he will walk us into the ocean, under the ocean, up in Europe, and then back around Asia, back to America. He will do the whole globe in one go. And maybe that's where he is right now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not doing ayahuasca. Anyways.
Maybe just on a very long stroll. Yes.
Yeah. You can find us on Twitter. Will always be Twitter. I refuse to call it X ever. Did you see Elon got booed at the Valorant?
I did, and they all chanted "Bring back Twitter," and it made me that warm fuzzy feeling you're describing about HQ trivia and 1 vs. 100 when they were chanting "Bring back Twitter." That's how I felt. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Random Nintendo. Individually, I am KV Gomi. Jason is JSR7. Angel doesn't get a plug. He's not here. Kidding. Angel. Well, does Angel really even use Twitter anymore?
He doesn't use Twitter. I like how every time we close the show now we have this debate about Angel's Twitter. Yeah, he hasn't really used Twitter anymore, but he's on Instagram at World of Wero with an S. If you want to see illustrated versions of what he used to tweet, like his Twitter thoughts are now illustrations, or his new mixed media format where he illustrates himself as his little Wero bird icon doing a thing in a real photo. Quite innovative.
Yeah, but sometimes he's also in the photo.
Oh, then it gets weird. Yeah, is it an alternate personality? Is it like that movie Split, or is it like literally are there two of him? Did he clone himself? Is there a bird version of him?
Are we the ones on ayahuasca?
Are we the ones?
Who knows, man?
Yeah, maybe Mario Wonder is actually really sterile, and we just are on drugs.
Oh man, that'd be a trip.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we buy the game and suddenly it's just New Super Mario Brothers Switch and it looks exactly like the others, and we were just like, wait, what? And it turned out we were on like a 5-month drug trip.
5 months? It'd be years at this point. Be close to a decade. It'd be over a decade. When did 3D Land come out? Or not 3D Land. When did New Super?
The original was 2006 on the DS.
2009. Yeah. Oh no, that's just the Wii.
2006 was the first on the DS.
Oh boy.
I will bet you money. May 2006 if you want to look it up.
Yeah, it's May 2006. That's a long time ago.
Yep. It's sad and impressive.
Ago. Jesus Christ.
It's both sad and impressive that I knew that so well. I had no hesitation about that month and that year.
Well, that does it for this episode. Jason, take us up.
Mr. Martinet, thank you.